Did you think only men could rule the heavens? Wait until you hear the name Wu Zetian. A long time ago, in the year 636, in the great land of China, a girl named Wu Zhao was born. She wasn't from a royal family. Her father was a rich wood trader, but they were not nobles. At age 14, Wu Zhao entered the imperial palace, the home of the emperor. She became one of the emperor's many concubines. That means she lived in the palace, but she was not the wife. She was at the bottom of the royal order. There were many beautiful girls in the palace. All of them wanted the emperor to notice them. They wore the best clothes, smiled at the right people, and tried to be seen. But Wu Zhao was different. She didn't shout. She didn't show off. She watched, listened, and learned. She read books. She remembered everything people said. She studied the emperor's likes and dislikes. She noticed things no one else did, because Wu Zhao knew one thing. If you can't find a ladder to climb up, build your own. One night, one of the emperor's favorite horses became sick. Most girls ignored it, but Wu Zhao came forward and said something strange.
Did you know horses feel sorrow like people do? In ancient times, it was said that a noble horse can die of heartbreak.
The emperor was surprised. Who was this quiet girl who spoke like a scholar? From that day, he started to notice her more. They talked about books, poems, and even government. Wu Zhao, only 15 years old, became someone the emperor listened to. She didn't win him with her face. She won him with her mind. But nothing lasts forever. The emperor's name was Taizong, and he was getting old. A few years later, he died, and with him, Wu Zhao's place in the palace ended. Or so everyone thought. By law, when an emperor died, his concubines had to go to a temple and become nuns for the rest of their lives. Wu Zhao was sent to a Buddhist temple. She shaved her head and wore simple robes. Many thought her story was over, but here's the twist. Before the old emperor died, Wu Zhao had also caught the eye of someone else, his son, Prince Li Ji, and now Li Ji was the new emperor. His name would become Emperor Gaozong. And guess what? He remembered Wu Zhao. Breaking old rules, Emperor Gaozong brought Wu Zhao back from the temple. No one had ever done this before. The court was angry. Officials whispered that this was shameful, but the emperor didn't care. He made Wu Zhao his top concubine, giving her the title Zhao Yi, the highest rank before empress. Now, Wu Zhao was once again in the palace, but this time she was not starting at the bottom. However, there was one big problem. The emperor already had a wife, Empress Wang. Wang had power, she had pride, and now she had a rival. But Wu Zhao wasn't scared. She didn't fight with her hands. She used her brain. She studied the court. She waited for her moment. One day, Wu Zhao gave birth to a baby girl. But something terrible happened. The baby died suddenly in the palace. Wu Zhao believed Empress Wang had something to do with it, but she didn't scream. She didn't blame anyone loudly. Instead, she went to the emperor and said,
I feel pain, but I worry more for a woman who doesn't even cry for her own child's death.
The emperor began to doubt his wife. His heart slowly turned toward Wu Zhao, and then everything changed. Was this just luck, or was it all part of her plan? Soon after, Empress Wang was removed from her position. Wu Zhao was made empress, the highest woman in the empire. Everyone was shocked. How could a woman who started as a concubine rise so high? But Wu Zhao wasn't finished. Being empress was only the beginning. She had a dream even bigger, to rule not behind the emperor, but in front of the entire empire. A woman had never ruled China as emperor before. It was forbidden. It was unthinkable. But Wu Zhao was ready to break every rule to change history. Imagine if the world told you, you can't, and you said, watch me. Wu Zhao, soon to be known as Wu Zetian, was just getting started. After Wu Zhao became empress, life in the palace didn't become easier. It became more dangerous. Many people in the royal court hated her. They said she was ambitious. They called her cold. Some whispered she used dark magic. Others said she was not womanly enough to be near power. But Wu Zhao didn't care. She was now the emperor's wife, but more than that, she was becoming the real ruler, step by step. Emperor Gaozong often got sick. He had weak eyes and dizzy spells, so Wu Zhao sat behind a curtain in court meetings, giving him advice. At first, the ministers didn't like it, but soon they saw something strange. Whenever Wu spoke, things got done. She helped make better laws. She made sure smart people got jobs, not just nobles with family names. She opened schools. She even lowered taxes for poor families. Imagine if someone in power actually listened to the people. That's what Wu did. And the emperor, he trusted her more each day. But power has a price. Wu Zhao had 4 sons and 2 daughters with Emperor Gaozong. She wanted them to grow strong. She wanted the Tang Dynasty to continue with her blood. But the court still didn't accept her. Every time her son made a mistake, they blamed her. They said,
"This is what happens when a woman tries to rule."
Wu knew. To protect her children, she had to control everything. Some say she punished officials who spoke against her. Others say she removed anyone who got in the way. Was she being cruel, or was she doing what men had done for centuries? But now, because she was a woman, it was called wrong. When a man leads, he's called strong. When a woman leads, she's called dangerous. The emperor dies, and a new era begins. In the year 683, Emperor Gaozong died. Normally, the next emperor would be Wu's son. And yes, one of her sons, Emperor Zhongzong, was placed on the throne. But after just a few weeks, Wu saw a problem. Zhongzong listened too much to his wife and her family. They wanted power. Wu thought,
If I don't act now, everything I built will fall apart.
So she removed her own son from the throne and replaced him with another, Emperor Ruizong, who listened to her. But the truth was simple. Wu Zhao was now ruling alone. The ministers were shocked. The empire had never seen this before. She didn't hide behind a curtain anymore. She sat in the dragon chair. Her name was on royal papers. She made all decisions. In 690, Wu Zhao did what no woman had ever done in Chinese history. She declared herself emperor. She changed the name of the dynasty from Tang to Zhou, starting a new age. The people now called her Shengshen Huangdi, sacred and divine emperor. What did the people think? At first, many were afraid. Can a woman really lead a whole country? But soon, things started to change. Wu Zetian helped farmers, built canals, and gave jobs to people who passed hard exams, not just rich families. She stopped unfair laws and punished corrupt nobles. She even created a secret box in the palace where people could drop notes if they saw something wrong happening. It was like a very early version of a complaint system over 1,300 years ago. Can you believe that? Of course, many powerful men still wanted her gone. They tried to turn her sons against her. They created lies. They said she was too old, too strange, too not like a woman should be. Some stories say she had enemies killed. Some say she made smart moves before they could hurt her. The truth? She survived where most others would have fallen, because she was always thinking 3 steps ahead. Wu Zetian ruled for 15 years as emperor, but time comes for all people, even empresses. By her 80s, she was sick. Her body was tired, but her mind was still sharp. In her final years, she finally gave the throne back to her son, restoring the Tang Dynasty name. In 705, Wu Zetian died quietly in the palace, the only woman in Chinese history to rule as emperor. And on her tomb, something strange happened. There were no words, no name, no titles, no stories carved into stone, just a blank tablet. Imagine a ruler so bold that her story was too powerful to be written in stone. That was Wu Zetian, a woman who rose from a concubine to emperor not by magic, not by luck, but by using the greatest tools she had: her mind, her patience, and her unstoppable will. I wonder what you think about this. Would you call her cruel, or would you call her brilliant? Wu Zetian passed away in the year 705. Her rule ended, but her story did not. Remember, her tombstone was left blank. No name, no record. Why? Some say it was because no one could agree on how to describe her. Was she a monster or a genius? A cruel queen or a brilliant ruler? The truth is, she was all of it and more. And maybe that empty stone says the most, because Wu Zetian didn't need someone else to write her story. She wrote it herself, with every choice she made. Let's stop and think about what Wu Zetian actually did. She was not born royal, but rose to the highest throne in China. She ruled as emperor, not just as wife or queen. She improved education, created fair exams, and opened doors for ordinary people to work in government. She fought for justice, even creating a secret reporting system where the poor could report the powerful. She held power for over 40 years, in a time when most women weren't even allowed to speak in public. She didn't do it by smiling sweetly. She did it by being smarter, faster, and stronger than the people who tried to stop her. Was she perfect? No. She made harsh decisions. Some of her actions hurt others. But imagine the pressure. She faced a world where every man around her said,
"You do not belong here."
She didn't ask for permission. She took the pen of history and wrote her name at the top. Wu Zetian lived more than 1,300 years ago, but she speaks to now. In every corner of the world, girls are still told, "Be quiet, don't try too hard, know your place." Wu Zetian never accepted that. She didn't wait to be chosen. She chose herself. Not because she was perfect, but because she refused to disappear. She shows us that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about showing up when you're told you don't belong. It's about thinking sharply, standing firmly, and daring to be more even when no one is watching, even when they try to erase your name. Imagine if her story had never been told. How many girls would still believe they were meant to stay silent? That's why we remember. She didn't need to be a myth. She just needed to be real. And she was. Power doesn't always wear a crown sometimes. It waits behind a curtain until it's ready to be seen. Wu Zetian proved that silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Being doubted doesn't mean you're wrong, it means you're ahead. She broke rules not to rule, but to rebuild. And her blank stone still speaks for every woman who ever had to carve her name in air.